Hi, I'm Carrie from the Summer Home, and for today's video, we are headed outside to our stock tank pool. I'm going to walk you through the step-by-step process we took to create this little mini pool in our backyard. I'll share the products we used and the steps we took to DIY the entire project. And I'll also be sharing the total cost of the project because I know you guys will all want to know. I will also be sharing what, if anything, we would have done differently and how the pool has held up over the last several years since we did this project. I will be linking everything we used in the description of the video, and I will also be linking a stock tank pool DIY blog post I wrote with step-by-step instructions as well. One last thing I want to mention before we get started is that when we did this project in 2021, I did not have a YouTube channel. So I'm going to be sharing some video that I took for my Instagram stories. So when you see the captions, you'll know where that's from. Okay, my friends, let's get started. And we're starting with the actual pool part. We bought the round galvanized tank from our local farm supply company. We have the Bayland Country 8-foot stock tank pool, and it is 2 feet deep. We transported it to our house in my father-in-law's truck, and once it was here, my husband and I easily rolled it to our backyard. Okay, the next part is prepping the ground for our pool. We placed our stock tank pool on grass, so we had to prepare the area for it. If you're placing your pool on a concrete slab, you obviously won't need to do the steps that are related to leveling the ground, like I'm going to show next. This was by far the most labor-intensive and time-consuming part of the whole project. My husband started by removing the grass, and as you can see here, he marked out the area with spray paint, taking into consideration the pavers we were planning to place around the pool. He then removed all of the grass. This part took him a couple of hours. All right, guys, here's where we're at. So my husband has dug it all out. And it's ready for sand. We're going to do sand level. I'm going to paint. And then this he dug out bigger so we can do pavers around the outside of it. So that's where we're at. Next up is all about leveling the actual ground that the pool is going to be placed on. At this point, we thought it would be smart to level the dirt area in preparation for the sand we will be using as a base. The ground will get leveled more later, but my husband really wanted to start with the dirt fairly level. So he used a PVC pipe and level to do so, which you can see here. Next up, time for some sand, which is what we're using for the base of the pool. My husband took the trailer to our local garden center and picked up a yard of construction sand. And now he's second guessing himself about the yard of sand. We're not sure we're gonna need much. This we used to ensure the ground was entirely level. As you can see here, a yard of sand is a lot. Spoiler alert, we initially thought we had way too much sand. However, by the time we completed the project, we only had a couple of buckets left. Okay guys, here's the sand, and he still has to level it all, but the sand is all in there, and yes, we had way too much sand, but what are you gonna do? It's better to have more, I guess. And then here's the pavers he went and got this morning from Lowe's. So the pavers are gonna go around there, and then we're gonna do rock in between each paver. So here's where we're at. My husband used his trusty PVC pipe to level the sand the same way he did the dirt earlier in the process. All right, can you explain what you're doing to level this out?
Yeah, I'm just getting these two pipes. I'm starting with one level pipe, and then I'm gonna level this pipe off of that. And then I'm going to use that as my screed, so then it'll just be level, and then I'll just work my way around.
Next up is time to paint and some pavers. If you're going to paint your stock tank pool, now is the time. I used Benjamin Moore Simply White exterior paint in their low luster finish. I painted this outside on our covered patio, and I just had my husband prop it up with some 2x4s, and we laid a tarp under it, and I just used a regular brush and roller. All right, time to paint. So my husband just put little like 2x4 pieces underneath, and then we put just like a big tarp. So it's up a little bit, and I'm just gonna use exterior paint and roll it and brush it. Okay, I've done one coat, and this light's kind of hard to see it, but it covered
well. And I'll be obviously doing another coat. Hopefully
For me, it took 3 coats. The paint dries really quickly and I did it on a warm day, so this part took me about 2 hours. After I did the first 2 coats, we moved it to its final spot so my husband could start the paver part, and I painted the last final coat in place.
So we decided to move it into place after the first coat, and then I'm just going to finish painting it in place because my husband's going to start doing the paver. So we basically just picked it up. We had it on our back patio over here, and just picked it up, buried it, set it on the sand, and then we did have to adjust it a few times, but we just put pavers around to make sure it was even on all sides. And then he's going to start the pavers, and I'm going to finish painting.
By the way, I didn't paint the inside of our pool. I've seen other DIY tutorials where they did paint the inside. I just didn't think it was going to be necessary. Okay, on to the pavers. We used 12-inch pavers from Home Depot. As far as laying them, my husband placed sand under each one and spaced them out evenly, measuring each paver the distance from the pool as well as the paver next to it. He used a small level to ensure they were each placed on level ground, as well as level to the paver next to it, using more or less sand as he went. And he used a mallet to set them in place. And here's a video showing this part.
So I got a couple coats of paint on there. There is going to be some touch-up I'll have to do, and the pavers are starting to be laid. And so he's basically going an inch or so up here, and then measuring and flattening out the ground as he goes. And he learned the hard way not to hit with his mallet too hard because he busted the first one. So he's just figuring it out as he goes. Anything you want to add?
Hire it done.
Alright, last one going in. He did use his towel saw and cut it because it needed to be 4 inches smaller, so he figured instead of like moving everything a little bit, he just cut it and it'll be perfect.
After the pavers were all laid, we used rock to fill in between each paver.
So we decided on these marble chips for in between. So we're going to put them in between and around, and then we're going to keep the grass growing up to the edge of it on this side, just in between. Rocks are in. This was definitely the easiest part. We used about 3.5 of those bags to go around and in between, so not bad. And then we're going to use some more over here. Show you up close. But I like the way it looks. The white and the gray. Well, he's working on this area here where the pump's going to go, and then so he leveled this out, put 2 pavers there, this is where the pump will go, and then over here, since that's our patio there, he's just going to put 2 little stepping stones here so we don't have to walk the grass to get into the pool. So that's the plan there. So we got all of the pavers laid, all the rock, and it's ready now for us to hook up the pump and everything that goes to make it a working pool.
Okay, we are moving on to installing the pump. We are treating this pool just like a regular pool, and so we wanted to pump to ensure the water stayed clean. I will link the pump that we have as well as all the accessories in the description below. Along with the pump, you will need these above ground plunger valves and this threaded inlet strainer kit for stock tank pools. So following the pump instructions, you will drill holes into the pool for the plunger valves. In the following video, my husband has drilled the holes and is using silicone around the plunger valve and inlet strainer kit. And one thing to note is the strainer kit goes on the inside of the pool to keep large debris from going into the pump.
All right, so we're now working on the, what are these called? Inlet and...
In return, I guess? I don't know.
Okay, inlet and return holes. And so he has drilled using, what did you use?
I used a bimetal 3-inch hole saw.
Okay, a 3-inch hole saw to drill one here and one right there. And then these hoses are going to go
into these over to that pump.
Okay, so
I'm
this
just
is
gonna,
all for the
I'm
pump.
just gonna put some silicone on here, just because this is round, and we have something flat going onto it. So
We're basically sealing
yeah,
this, and then we're gonna put these in the little holes. Attach the pump to it.
correct.
Okay. So he's put the silicone on that, and now he's pressing it through. And then he's going to fasten it on. Okay, what?
This is the valve.
Okay.
It turns it on, lets water go that way.
Oh, okay.
So when it has a little thing here, it says to open it, you turn it this way.
Okay.
So when you want water to flow through it, you turn it on, and then if you need to change the pump or whatever,
Gotcha.
it'll stop it, and you can take this off, and water won't gush out.
Gotcha. This is just the cover for it.
It just makes it pretty.
Oh, wasn't that pretty?
I don't think I'm gonna tighten it on all the way just yet, because tomorrow I'll probably put a
Some more
sweet
silicone?
bead around there.
Okay. Sweet bead coming your way. So he's gonna file this because it has some sharp pieces. So
Yeah.
can you see like the sharp edges there from him using his saw? So he's using this little file here,
Half round.
half round file, to file off sharp edges. And the second one's going in.
This goes onto the hose, like so. This tightens it down. I got this one as low as I could get it. We might have to dig out some rock.
Uh-oh.
Let's see how shell goes on.
And we wanted this one low because...
Because this makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Because he said so. So here's where we're putting the filter on these little blocks. It's right now currently just resting on there. It does have places where you can screw it in, but he said he'd rather not because he's worried. We're going to test this out, and then if we have to, we'll figure something out. He's worried it'll break the pavers. So for now, it's just sitting on there. But
They're
there
pretty
it is.
cheap. You saw me break them yesterday.
Yeah, I did.
And at this point, we let the silicone dry overnight, and then it was time to fill the pool. When we were researching this pool DIY, I found several blogs that said to check for leaks and fill up your pool beforehand, and several blogs that said to just go for it. We ended up just going for it.
All right, friends, it's the moment of truth. Time to start filling. We cleaned it all out. And now we're going to start filling it and see if it's leaking anywhere.
2 hours later.
Getting to
It'll take a while.
So far, so good, guys. I'm not seeing any leaks. It's filling up.
And now it's time to test the pump.
Okay, moment of truth. We're firing it up.
Gotta open up this valve here
Okay, we're
until
opening up the
water
valve.
comes out.
Can I be in the picture?
Yeah.
Hi.
Alright, heads up, bud.
Oh.
I'm gonna turn it on, I think. The dial somewhere. Turn it on. I saw it on right here.
It's gonna be that loud, always.
Looks like it's going.
Okay, looks like it's going.
Hey, do you see like the ripple of
I
stuff?
do see the ripples.
Can I?
Oh, looks like it's working.
So is it gonna be that loud, always?
Like in the afternoon.
So like not all day.
Yeah. Looks good.
Okay.
Look, people, it's moving.
Okay, let's cover some questions that I get asked all the time. First question, does the pool itself get hot? Like, does the metal get hot? And the answer is no. And I'm guessing that because these stock tank pools are made for animals, they've probably considered all this, but no, to the touch, the pool is not hot. We live in the Pacific Northwest where our daytime highs are usually around 85 degrees. And every once in a while it'll be, 90s into the hundreds. But a couple years ago, we had a day that it was 107 degrees. And so I was like, this is a great time to go test to see how hot the pool is. Here's a video from that. You guys, I came out here for a couple reasons. One is I wanted to feel how hot this was. So it's 107 out. It will never be this hot again here. And I wanted to check the, people have asked me a bunch of times about how hot it gets. And you guys, it's warm, but I can do this and it's not too hot. So there's that. The stock tank pool does not get too hot to touch. And we've been gone for several days and it's been super hot, but here we go. It's, gosh, what is that? Almost 199 degrees. And then also these pavers, you guys, I'm pleasantly surprised. They're warm too, but like not like burning my feet hot. So anyway, just wanted to report a couple things, how the stock tank's holding up in this heat. Next question, how is the pool holding up? So I would say the pool is holding up incredibly well. It has been almost exactly 3 years since we did this DIY project, and I would say I probably need to paint the pool because there's some little nicks and scratches, but otherwise it's held up incredibly well. There's no leaking and no rust. There are a couple of leaf stains where leaves have blown in over the winter and stained the bottom of the pool, but it's really a non-issue for us. Next question, do you drain your pool each winter? And the answer to this is no, we do not. Again, we live in the Pacific Northwest where we have fairly mild winters, so we just leave our pool filled. We do cover it and we do disconnect the pump for the winter. All right, last question. What would we do differently if we were to do the project again today? And my answer has always been, from the very first summer, I would have installed a heater. Our days are warm during the summer, but we have cool nights. So even with the solar cover, the pool isn't warm until late afternoon. I know we would all use it a lot more if it were heated, and I am currently looking for a solution for this summer. And if I end up finding something that I love, I'll add it to the description below. Lastly, let's talk cost. So we did this project in 2021. I'm doing this video in 2024. Obviously, prices have increased, but I'm going to share with you exactly what it cost us to do it 3 years ago. So at least you'll have kind of like a ballpark idea. All right, our 8-foot stock tank pool was $300. The pump and replacement filters were $215. The threaded inlet strainer kit was $50. Plunger valves were also $50. Our solar cover was $45. The pool net, chemical dispenser, chlorine tablets, and test strips were $65. The pavers, sand, rock, and paint were $175. So in 2021, the total cost of our stock tank pool was $900. Again, I'm linking everything in the description below that we used, as well as the blog post DIY tutorial that I've written. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye.